Welcome to the Clear the Air podcast with D and Q.
I'm D.
And I'm Q. Let's air it out, man. Let's air it out. Let's air it out. Today we're talking about...
Wait. My brother. It's good to see you. Always good when we get together.
He always
break
gets
bread.
on me about that part.
I know, because you just be ready to dive in. Pause.
Let's
I
do
was
it.
like, yo,
Let's do it.
it's good to see you. How
Yeah.
you doing?
Yeah.
How everybody doing? Alright, now we can jump into it.
We can
Let's
jump
get into
in.
it.
We can
Now
jump
we can
in.
dive right in.
There's so many topics when it comes to women. But given that this is a men's podcast, we want to make sure that we are addressing things that relate to both. All right? In this case, we want to talk about the idea of, can you be with a woman who makes more money than you? That's a big topic.
Bruh, that's
It's a big
really
topic.
big topic. It's a really big topic.
Big topic.
And let's see, how did we come up with that idea?
You tell me.
So basically, we were trying to come up with different topics in regards to women for International Women's Month and
Women's History Month.
Women's History Month. I'm sorry, it's International Women's Day, Women's History Month. And a lot of the things we had kind of already talked about, but we both agreed that we wanted to talk about something else before the month was over with.
Right.
And we were just bouncing ideas off of each other. We was like, man, we kind of touched on that, and, you know. And so it just came to me. It just came to me, and I was like, bro, what you think about this? And you was like, let's do it. And then we'll get to it later because, you know, you had some personal experience with that. I was like, oh, what better way than to talk about that? And I think it's a way for us to kind of be transparent and vulnerable as well. You know, be upfront and completely honest about how we feel about this topic.
Speaking of which, do you see any problems with a woman making more money than a man?
I do not. Now, well, I believe in certain situations, and there might be a couple stipulations for, but on a macro level, no, of course not.
We're gonna go micro. I
Okay,
just wanted to ask you that.
yeah. Hey, get your bag. Get your bag, boo.
I don't have any issues with it. Now, let's go here. What are some reasons you would imagine the fellas would have a problem with a woman making more money than them?
The biggest thing is, you know, as a guy, you want to be that provider. You know what I mean? You want to provide for your wife. You want to provide for your significant other. You want to be able to provide for your family, for your kids. So in that sense, if you're the provider, you want to think as though you want to be the main provider, the number one provider, the one that's providing the most. And, you know, finances is a big part of that.
That's a big part.
Yeah. So I think that's probably the biggest thing. Pride and ego, of course. You know, some guys probably can't handle a woman making more than them. And that could just be, it don't even got to be a significant other. It could be in your workplace. You know what I mean? So.
I got a few. I think one is fear. And I think that's, you can break that down into many sub-compartments, but I think fear is probably the bigger reason. Some of the things you said, sometimes with us men, the ego, we hide things and we mask it as ego, but it's actually fear. Okay? So fear. I think the fear of, if she makes more money than me, does she really need me?
Right.
Okay? So if she makes more money, does she really need me? Is she going to be submissive?
Yep.
Now, ladies, you might not like that word a lot. And I'm going to say two things to that before we move on.
It gets misconstrued a lot too.
Well, that's the reason why
Right.
it's not liked or
Right.
desired. You know, it's not desired because it's misconstrued.
Right.
Where I come from, and when I say where I come from, how I see submissive, a male should be submissive. I say in the biblical way, and I'll clear that up in a second. But I also think, of course, that a woman should be submissive as well. It's give and take in relationships. So there is a level of submission that exists, I feel, should exist either way. I'll leave the spiritual thing aside, but I will say that I believe there is a level of submission that a man has. It goes both ways.
Right.
Okay. Whether you want to use that word compromise as a form of submission, either way. All right. This is a big one, and this is a fear. You would imagine that if the woman has more money, she may have her own home. She may have, it's her apartment and you decide to move in. Now you contribute, but it's her place. The fear of being put out.
What they say, if your name ain't on the lease.
But, you know, and again, it's a fear that and y'all get into a fight, y'all get into an argument. Well, this is my place.
Right.
You know, so I think that itself brings forth a fear. So I just think those are a few reasons of why it may be looked at a certain kind of way. I'm not saying I look at it or you look at it that kind of way, but I think if we were to speak for men that do have a problem with it, that might be why. Now, maybe there's something that we didn't think about. Men, when you look at this, if it's something that we didn't say, what's one of the reasons why you might have a problem with your lady or a woman making more money than you, a significant other? All right? So, that being said, now those are some of the reasons why you could potentially not feel comfortable with a woman making more money than you. The other thing is this, which takes it a step further, okay? Let's say you meet this young lady, right? Y'all are hitting it off. You know she makes good money. You know she does okay for herself. She can, you know, they said they want an independent woman. I love her because she got her own. Okay, cool. Could you marry or have a serious relationship with a woman who is making more money than what you are? What say you?
So look, man, I was giving this a lot of thought. I kind of threw out the topic, and then, you know, on the way here, I was like, man. So, me personally, I could, but I think it would have to be under certain situations, and let me explain that. And I'm gonna be very broad with the things I say. So I think the more money I make, and I'm gonna say my wife made, I think the easier it would be. So let's say we both made six figures. Let's say I made 200 grand, right? And let's say she made 250, right? I think it would be easier for me. I know it would be easier for me because it's like, well, I'm doing okay myself as well. You know what I mean? And she's doing great, and we both bring it in together. We both, you know, furnishing our lifestyle. We're living a good life. We're providing for our family, our kids. I think it would be easy. Now, if I was making like 50 and she making 80, you know what I'm saying? I think it would be a little harder. But the caveat with that would be it would make me want to level up. You know what I mean? And that's the point. It would just make me as a man want to level up. And I'm gonna feel that way anyway. But if I know that my wife is out there and she grinding and she doing her thing and making that paper and providing, it's gonna make me level up and go harder than what I'm already doing. You see what I mean? See, I brought that back. Yeah.
Make sure you watch the entire thing.
Yes.
Because you could take this clip and get it twisted of what he said.
Yeah, and to be like, oh, they were just being sexist. You know what I mean? Nah, definitely not. The women, y'all out here, y'all doing your thing. Y'all getting the paper. Y'all got these side hustles going on. We loving it. I'm loving it. So yeah, keep doing your thing. And a lot of that should make men level up. And so, because that might mean that we not holding up our end of the bar. Maybe we not doing the things that we need to do.
Maybe we're not going as hard as we could.
Not going as hard as we should be.
Yeah.
And so we could use, you know, our wife, our significant other as motivation. So that's what I want to say.
Which leads me to. So, nice segue, because my answer to that is Yes, I can. Yes, I did. All right. For me, one of the things that was dope about my wife was that I kind of saw her on what I assumed was a grind, and it attracted me to her. So for me, let's clear that up. It wasn't that I was attracted to it because I was a bum and I wanted to live off of, my woman. No. It is attractive seeing a woman who's a boss, who is doing her thing. She's, not necessarily climbing the corporate ladder, but she's successful in what it's something sexy about confidence, seeing a woman, she knows what she's doing and she's great at it. Okay? So for me, that was very attractive. At the time when I met her, she was making $30,000 to $40,000 more than I was. Yes. So again,
That's
significant.
Yeah.
That's significant. And I didn't think twice about it. I'm like, hey, that's what's up. But what was dope is that my wife and I were friends, so I'm just like, yo, shoot, that's prototype. She get her a dude, he gonna add to it, and then boom, there you go.
And I can co-sign that. That's what you were saying. Yeah, that's how you felt. That's what you were saying. And I also want to co-sign when you said that you wasn't doing that so you could be a bum. Because I'm gonna say you one of the hardest working brothers I know, and always been. My brother ain't never been afraid to work.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So
shout out, since we talking about women, shout out to my mom for that. She could never be proud of me if that was my mentality. And she never encouraged that. So, shout out to moms. Love you, mom.
hold on. Shout out to my mother too, since we shouting out my mothers. Shout out moms. She always worked hard, was able to retire early. Now she enjoying life. Love you too, mom.
Nah, that's what's up. I'm gonna say this part because I know we said making six figures. Shout out to the people who are saving six figures, investing six figures. Because everybody may not make six figures.
That is correct.
But again, that does not mean you're unsuccessful.
Right.
Your credit could be through the roof, not make six figures, and you just are good with money. So we just want to, we can talk about the financial literacy stuff later in 2023, which we are due for.
Correct.
But again, as we clear the air, we also want to shout out women for being successful, for being go-getters, whether that comes from the fact that that's just how your upbringing was,
or you had to do it to survive.
That was the
whatever the reason was or is. Shout out to y'all.
Shout
out to y'all that's doing it while still having to hold down the home, the family, the kids, all the house duties, all of that. Shout out to y'all that's doing that and still working hard and getting the bag.
And as we close, shout out to y'all who are right next to your man, helping him build empires, helping him to leave a legacy for your family, being an example in the community so that other people can say, man, listen, I need to sit up underneath that. Not be jealous of it. I need to sit up underneath that so I can learn the game, so I can duplicate the process. And maybe it looks a little different for each of us, but that's what it is. Yo, we also want to make sure that you guys are following us on all social media platforms. You already know what to do with YouTube. Go ahead and subscribe. By the way, probably more than 50% of the people who come across our content are not subscribers. Smash that subscribe button. Okay, we need you to do that for the video experience, also for the audio experience. Spotify and Apple Podcasts need you to holler at that too. If you like that audio experience, you are traveling to and from work, or you just like to listen to things while you're cleaning your home, women, men, do that. Also, don't forget to check us out on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. We'll see you there.
Peace.